Welcome, Smutty Buddies. We are back for season 2 of Snackable Smut, Thoroughly Fed. This is a special edition of the episode, not only because it's the first of season 2, but it is the first where we're in the same room together.
That has never happened before. Not while we're filming.
I was going to say, we've been in the same room together many, many times.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounds bad too.
No, it doesn't. Keep going. I'll take it.
We have had a wonderful hiatus. We have read a lot of amazing books.
Yep.
We read a lot of arcs.
Yes.
I think I read more arcs in this 2-month period.
Yeah, we had a lot for sure.
Than I've read, which is
amazing.
A blessing because that means people are trusting us to like and review their books.
Yep.
Let's see, what else did we do?
Some of us got really sick. She was sick for a while.
Got really sick. I don't know.
She sounded like.
Remember when I lost my voice in season 1?
Yeah.
It was like that, but for like
a long time.
2 months straight.
For sure.
We're working on it. We're working on getting healthier.
Yeah. So what else do we do? So we did a lot of arcs. We worked on a lot of our templates and a lot of our branding type stuff for Snackable Smut.
Mm-hmm.
Going into season 2, we wanted to update it and make sure we were still following our own vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We updated the logo.
Yes, we did.
Let's see if you notice.
Yes.
We made a lot of connections. We connected with a lot of authors. We had a lot of great conversations with authors and PAs.
Yep.
We spread the word.
Yeah, we've been all over Facebook and Instagram, spreading the word. And it's great. It's something that I figured out that I absolutely love is when I recommend a book somewhere and then that person is like, oh my God, I'm so scared. Cause yes, of course. And I'm like, if you need someone to talk you through, message me while you're reading. And so that's actually happened a few times and it's hilarious. It's so funny. But those conversations are so much fun and they're so much a part of what we do that it's like a huge dopamine hit. It's amazing.
Well, and then we get to share those with the authors,
Mhm.
like the whole process. I know in particular, we've shared a lot with Miss Candace Wright
Yes.
about where we recommend her books because she has these amazing psychological thrillers. She just released during the hiatus Soul Survivor, which I told my grandma about at Easter dinner. I was like, I'm reading this book and it will not stop twisting and turning. And I have no idea who did it, but I've been bugging the author every day.
Yeah. And so to that point, I mean, we talk about them all the time just because when books leave an impact like that, you just want everyone else to experience that thing that you felt.
Yes.
And so it's a mind fuck for sure, but it's in the best possible way.
It was the best possible way.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
never knew what was coming. So
No.
kudos to Miss Candace Wright on Soul Survivor.
Yeah.
It
For the mind fuckery. We love it.
That would have been my favorite book on the hiatus.
You think so?
Well, it was so unlike anything that I had read.
Yeah, even now, like we've been reading romance a long time. And so sometimes when you find a specific book that is a little outside the norm or the norm, and I don't say that in a negative way at all, because obviously there's a formula, but it's something that has different punches and different pulls. And you just sit back and you're like, what was that?
It reminded me of when we read that St. Abby series.
Yeah, Stabby.
And it was the female serial killer and the male cop.
Yeah.
And just, you never knew. Never knew. So it reminded me a lot of that. I hadn't read one like that since probably St. Abby.
Yeah.
So what didn't we do during the hiatus?
A lot.
We did not clear our TBRs.
No, never.
No. In fact, it was hilarious. We added probably more to our TBRs than we cleared with the arcs.
Yeah, it's true.
Because then once we would arc for an author, either that we knew or had, like, we got the arc for a series, we'd have to rush. I know you did with Miss Zoe Blake.
Yeah.
You had to rush and backlog and reread because you love to reread before you get to the next one. Yeah. And so your TBR got extensively
Well, I
longer.
did the same thing because Kara's by Sadie Kincaid just dropped last week.
Friday.
Yeah. And I wanted us to read the entire Chicago Ruthless series and do the reviews in a way that they led up to Kara's being released. So that's just what we wanted to do. But we wanted the books to be fresh because it's been a long time. So I got to experience Dante, Joey, Lorenza, Kara's all at the same time. And it was fucking phenomenal.
Which was nice for me because I read them as they released. And so when I would come to a point where when we sat down to discuss Kara's, and I was like, I didn't really feel like this part was very good. And you were like, no, remember, da 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 da. So you were able to remind me where she left little plot points and Easter eggs because you had read. So I wish I had done it from start to finish, because I think that I didn't get to appreciate the full value of everything that she wrote for the entirety of the series. So if you're just looking for I think that's the last one, right?
Yeah,
for
it
now.
is the last one, at least as far as we know now.
If you're
Sadie.
if you're looking for a full, robust series.
So much.
I think he's my favorite.
Dante.
Mia. Anyway. Other things we didn't do. We did not update our video clips and get rid of the Pepto-Bismol pink. You're welcome.
We're working on it though.
You're welcome for those of you who love the Pepto-Bismol pink from our infancy. I don't remember why we thought that.
Because no, I do remember, because I was like, are you sure that's where we want to go? And you were somebody in a marketing friend or whatever, they were like, oh, that pink makes it pop and it's perfect.
Yeah.
Newsflash. It is no longer really our aesthetic.
It's not really our aesthetic. What else? I didn't cut new video clips from the old episodes.
No.
We have, I mean, if you're a clip girly, which I respect because we're all short on time. And if you're a clip girly
or ADHD, of course.
Yeah. If you're a clip girly and only watching us in clip form, just know there are full episodes over on YouTube with lots of funny quips that I just didn't cut, because when I get to about 22 clips from an episode, I let go and let God.
And a goddess is.
I let you all try to travel back to the episode. But there are so many that I could have clipped had I not caught the plague.
It's hilarious. She was really sick. That was not hilarious.
That part was not fun.
So let me see. What were we just talking about a second ago? Oh, we were talking about backtracking on series. So I remember I've done the same thing with several different authors. Every time Ames Mills drops new books, I go back through, which it's just it's like a guilty pleasure because I love them so much. So going back through that world, I'll never make time for it any other time because we're busy. But it gives me the excuse to do it. So I just did it with Heather Long. Hi. I love you. I love you. Because every time she drops a new in the Bay Ridge Royal series, I go back through and I can read them again. And when I was reading 82nd Street Vandals last year, she did a surprise, like almost back-to-back drop for 8 and 9. And so I went through all of them for the third time just last year for the 8th book. And then I did it again a month later for the 9th book because I love them so much. So there's several authors that we love so much that we do try to do the reread when they have a new book release, especially if there's a span of time between, this release and this release. The ones that drop monthly or every other month, we love you, first of all.
Thank you.
But it's still fresh when we go into it. So
I did a comfort read, throwback to season 1, episode we don't even know. I think it was 20.
Maybe
20. Well, the episode about comfort reads, when I got really sick, I did a comfort read. And then I also did another comfort read because I had a series of slow burns from the ARC world. And I was like, I just need something I know that punches. And I went back and reread Rosalie's, because she released an omnibus of the Highgate Preparatory series, Conquered. And so just having that on my Kindle when I would get frustrated, I knew I could just jump over to that and read a good 4 or 5 chapters and get unfrustrated. And jump back into.
I read Conquered also. I did the arc of it, which I know I've read all the other books. I know it's no new content, but it gave me an excuse to read it all again. And I love that so much because we love that series.
Oh, it's so good.
I just read the arc again. I think I want to say it was in February, but I could be wrong.
I have an arc. It's taking up space on my Kindle Unlimited. But I have like 4 that I'll never delete.
Same. I have 1.
I should just go buy it is what I should do.
I can't go buy it.
You can. Oh,
Eva Ashwood, we love you.
But I have the secret book. And then I have Conquered. I don't know. I have my Kindle right here. I should just see. There are like 2 others that I'll never ever delete because I just love them so much. And the proper thing to do would be to go buy the original book, which is probably what I'll do when I get off this call. I don't remember what the other ones are. They're way down here. Like you have to scroll all the way down. Anyway, What else didn't we do during the break? We didn't stress. Okay, we stressed a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
We stressed a little bit, but we did enjoy time with our family, which was the most important part and why we took a break.
Yep.
So that we could take the time to catch up, and we, refined our review processes. We made sure we looked at the brand. We looked at our business model. We set up things, for an event we were going to.
And this is the best part. I came to where I am right now, so that we could attend RTD this year.
Correct. That's a good segue.
Yeah. Our families are best friends, so it allows us to get together and hang out and do all those things that best friends do. It also was part, oh yeah, good food, that's our thing. The main reason we came here was for RTD. And so we're going to talk about that experience today, which is going to be fun.
We're going to do it right now.
We're going to just get right into it.
So RTD, everybody's experience was different. I think I should quantify that. And ours was very limited because we were intentional about our exposure to RTD. We knew there was going to be a lot of people. We knew there was going to be a lot of authors and PAs and vendors and panels. We knew it was a lot, and we were not staying on site. We were staying where I live. So it was a drive for us to get there.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm an introvert at heart. Let's start there.
I will say that the way we came to RTD, it's the first experience for Snackable Smut. And she was a virgin, which is its own thing that we'll talk about.
That's my own kind of kink.
And so we intentionally did not do an agenda for us and what all we wanted to hit. We were really determined to go into it really low key and really kind of fluid, just because we knew things were going to happen as we were in the, as we were actually in the convention, and your plans change. And we just refused to get stressed out about that part of it, because it would have made us both crazy, and we can't afford crazy. We have kids, there's too much. So we intentionally
also wanted to see where we fit.
That too.
Like, we didn't know, because it wasn't very clear on the website how to become an influencer, which I don't think we quantify ourselves as influencers. I saw Delaney. What was Delaney Starr? We met Delaney Starr, and then I was following and I was reading her recap of the experience. And I remember her saying she doesn't view herself as a influencer. She views herself as a book reviewer. And I thought that was really, really poignant, because I think that's how we view ourselves too. I'm not trying to influence any of you to read anything outside your comfort zone or buy anything outside your comfort zone. I just want to share space with all of you and read good books and discuss them and highlight authors we adore.
Yeah. So for RTD, we were going to come, we were just going to experience. It was all going to be bonus for us. So we did not have any pre-orders with any authors, because we were not going to do the standing in line thing either. Like, that was just how we decided to deal with it. So we also didn't stay on property, which had its it's had its perks and its drawbacks.
We spent money on cheese instead.
We did spend money on cheese, because cheese is life.
Cheese
is life.
Facts.
So silly. Anyway, so we weren't staying on property, which means we had other real world kind of dynamics that played into our agenda, right? We weren't going to go 9 o'clock in the morning. Nope. That's getting in ready, doing the drive, paying to park, which is a thing, being there however long we were going to, and then leaving and coming back at night for the speakeasy or whatever the thing was at night. So with all that said, if we decided not to do something, we were not tore up about it.
No.
We did not have anything riding on it from a money perspective, except what we spent to get in, just like everybody else. So that has to be discussed first, because, it's part of our experience as far as RTD goes.
Right. And there was a weather element. I don't know if any of you have recapped the 2024, but it did snow. It did start snowing and then continued to snow. And the area that I'm in Colorado, received more snow than the area that RTD was in. So for us to travel, we traveled through dense fog and some pretty shitty weather. And so we made the executive decision not to leave our kids orphans.
Yeah. Facts. Okay. So with that framing, we can get into it. So we went Thursday night so we could do registration and all of that stuff. We opted to go a little bit later because I think it was open from 3 to 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
We opted to give a little bit of space and time because we figured what would happen is the people that were at the hotels would get it out of the way, and then there would be some, a little bit less lines.
We were not correct.
We were absolutely not correct.
But that is not not correct in that assumption.
Those lines were something like we had to stand in line to get to point A to get into another line. And in retrospect, there were 3,000 fans.
I wore fuck me boots.
Yeah, she did.
I wore tasseled fuck me boots, and
they were sexy, but they were not comfortable.
They got a lot of attention, but they hurt my feet.
Yeah.
I did not think I'd be standing in line. And remember the lady with the stool? Did we ever see how that collapsed?
No.
I still have questions. If you brought a stool to sit in line,
it looked like it was inflatable, but that's not possible.
It looked like one of those cheerleading megaphones, but she was sitting on a much wider base.
You have no idea how long she was like, what is that?
What is that? How do I get one? I don't even need one, but in case the occasion arises again, where we have to stand in line excessively, I would like a megaphone shaped thing to sit on.
Wouldn't we all? I didn't mean to shake it. That was a big one.
But we met some amazing human beings.
Yeah, so we moved ourselves through the lines, which was fine. We stayed together. Yeah, we were just talking to ourselves, some people around us. Like, obviously, we're not shy, and that comes over when we talk to everybody. Yeah. So we got through the first line, we got to the second line, which led to the tables. And we went through that process, which blessed the volunteers' hearts. They were hustling for sure.
I would say our process, besides the lines, which logically made sense, there was 3,000 people. Besides the line, I don't have any complaints. We didn't encounter anyone that was.
It was a little chaotic, that part of it.
Chaotic, but we naturally center and make a joke out of fucking everything.
Yeah.
So our lady was checking us in. I was like, "How's your day going? You having a good time?"
This is who we are when we're out.
Post-it notes. And I was like, "It's fine. We don't need a post-it note." Okay.
See, this is who we are. This is who we are naturally.
Do you want me to get your coffee?
We automatically
mom mode.
We mom mode and try to soothe people or make them laugh too. It's just how we are naturally. So stick us in something like RTD where people are cranky and they're not responding to the chaos as well as I would say we did. Because we're used to chaos in our regular lives and we have kids and we're old enough. That is just for
it's always chaos here.
Yeah, you just have to. We go with it. That's just how we choose to do it. Is it always painless? No, sometimes
I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah,
but that was a personal choice of boots. So
you know what we're gonna do when we clip this out, and she will. I'm gonna get a picture of her and her booze.
Put it on there.
Yeah. So we went through the line. We did the registration piece. It was chaotic, and that's fine. Whatever. Then we wanted to
This is my favorite part.
Then we wanted to sit down. So we walked up a little bit. There were no seats because there were 3,000 people or whatever it was. So we saw a table that had been set up earlier for another part of the process, and they had since closed it down. But there were chairs on the other side of those tables. So of course we sat our asses down because that's what we're like. Fuck that, we don't care.
Hard.
And then people started. They thought we worked there or were affiliated somehow. We're not. We weren't. And we were clear about that.
Yes, we were very clear. Yeah. We did not rep. So if you got some bad advice.
They did not. It was all fine. So they were asking us questions.
In the beginning, we had no fucking idea.
We learned.
But we did learn because people would double back and be like, "Oh yeah, you were right," or "You were wrong. It's upstairs. They moved it. They moved it.
So we just kept answering all these people's questions. And they would, yeah, we did. It was amazing. They would come up and they would say, literally, "Do you work here?" And we would be like, no, but we've been answering questions for hours. Please go.
And this lady was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Don't worry, I have a fuckable face. You can ask me anything." And then Michelle died.
It was funny.
And I don't think that she just looked at me.
It was funny. And it was amazing. And so, all these people that came back and forth, they made our night. It was amazing. Yeah.
We did a lot of it would be really funny. We'd see somebody in the distance and you could tell kind of who the authors and influencers were. Because
keep in mind, there were 450 authors. So
they just carry themselves very differently.
Yeah.
And so we'd be like, "Who do you think that is?" And we flip through the book and then we'd look them up on Instagram and then we'd be like, "That didn't
Doesn't sound stalkerish at all, though.
No, but we wanted to be respectful when we screamed at them from behind our table.
Fair. It's fair.
We cheered on the volunteers.
We did cheer on the volunteers. There was this one delightful woman who kept running back and forth with like these they're like the laundry shooting bins, but they were filled with books and backpacks. The swag backpacks from our team.
She was just hustling.
She smiled every time, laughing as she was going back and forth. And we love that. Like we feed off that energy. So we were like encouraging her and be like, go.
Like you unloaded that fast. I wish we got her name. She was delightful.
Yeah. She was moving too fast.
So who else did we run into that first day?
Okay. So during orientation, the first person we saw that I could step to was Lauren Biel. And I saw her coming in. I was like, Lauren Biel, MyDys lady. No, I didn't say that. She laughed anyway.
Oh, no, you did though.
Well, okay. So some people I know that Carrie doesn't know on site. And so I will give key components of certain books that we've read to remind her who it is. So when we saw Lauren Biel, she came up and I was like, MyDys lady and Sex on Top of the Dead Body.
And everybody looked around at us because I would say probably we were a 20% majority of dark romance. I'd say the majority of authors and fans there were either fantasy. There was a very large fantasy contingency. Yeah. And there was a very large what do they call that? Like small town romance?
Yeah, small town
contemporary feel good romance writers. The dark writers were quite few and far between, I would say, and fans. So talking about somebody having sex on a dead body sure did turn some heads.
It's funny. I wish for convention spaces specifically, I wish that they put genres together. So dark authors, small town. Like I know some people, a lot of authors write a lot of different stuff, so that wouldn't work for them. But it definitely was a choice. However, they were mapped out. So, we were like up and down the lines, up and down the lines.
But if you're building a convention, us dark girlies would like to be in the same room.
Well, the other part of that was the way the rooms were sorted and separated as to who was in each room at RTD. We didn't understand the rhyme or reason. So we can look on the map they texted out or whatever it was. It was small. But it did make sense to me, and that's fine. It doesn't have to. I'm only one person, but it wasn't logical in any way. So, just up and down the aisles is what we ended up doing.
So we tackled Lauren Biel.
We did.
And we met her husband, Ben.
Yeah, we introduced ourselves.
Hi, Ben. And good job carrying suitcases. And then we took a selfie.
Yes.
And then we sat down.
We did.
And then we just shouted at people from behind the table for 3 hours.
It was so great.
We were going to go up to like the welcome dance party, but we were having so much fun sitting at the table, meeting people. We had and if we had better planned, we would show you, but we had little packets made up that had beautiful matte stickers, Snackable Smut matte stickers, and treats. And then we had business cards made with our QR code and information on them. We didn't hand out as many of those as we wanted, but we did hand those out to people that we felt like we connected with.
Yeah. So we know there's a lot of information out there about RTD. Our experience was probably not indicative of most, and that's because we weren't there nearly as much as most people were. So when we went through on, I guess it was Friday, to the first big room that we could get into, that's where we ran into a lot of people that we know and love. So that was amazing. However, a whole nother subset of authors that we also love and we're trying to connect with were in a special signing room. And that communication was a little bit weird, so we didn't even get back to that room.
Most of the people that we connected with
on the ticketed author room, and it was just weird.
Which shout out Sadie Kincaid for making the ticketed author room.
Yeah,
I just want to give you props there. Also, SJ Tilley was in the ticketed author room.
A lot of our favorites were in there for sure.
And so if you didn't see us, and we promised you'd see us, it's because we were scared of the ticketed room.
No. It was so, and then the other part of it is so many readers go and they buy all these pre-orders and they have all these books that they want signed. And we refuse to like be in line you know,
I want to take
space.
away from their experience, and all I want to do is hand you some Three Musketeers and a sticker
and say hi.
and say hi.
Yeah. So
do that here and tag you on this platform,
and we probably will.
We will, probably.
So you know, that Friday was great. We did catch up with a lot of people in those rooms, and we made a lot of connections and had a lot of fun.
Let's talk about that. We talked to Zaji,
yeah,
who was delightful. Zaji and Michelle had a disagreement about a book, but it was like really beautiful. I thought it was the most beautiful, respectful disagreement about a book I've ever witnessed.
Romance readers, we all have an affinity for the books. So, you know, if you're of a mindset where you know that if a book is not for you, you just close it and move on, and it's fine. And you can be best friends and disagree on a book, and that's fine too. So
that was it. We do that all the time.
Yeah, we don't.
That was the only space that I had, I witnessed it, and it was just respectful and beautiful.
Yeah. So I was talking about a book that still to this day frustrates me. No, I will not name it, because I love the author, but this one book that they wrote tried to kill me, and I still talk about it vehemently every time because it was not for me. And so I said that, and Zaji was like, I love that book. It's my comfort read. I just read it again for the 3rd time last week, and I was like, I love you.
I haven't read it at all.
No.
So I had no input to that conversation, but I really enjoyed that respectful
it was great
conversation between them.
Yeah, it was great.
We also ran into a couple other influencers that we loved, the Feral Unhinged bookish besties. They
were
had
amazing.
the best matching gear.
Yeah.
Shout out to them for coordinating all of that. They were so excited and so sweet.
Yeah, they were great.
We also ran into a couple of influencers who we are just like connecting with now that everything's over. Like people must be going through the cards and stuff. Let's see who was in while we were waiting for Zaji. We met a sweet. Was that Steph Macca?
Oh, yes. It was Steph Macca. She's actually an Australian author who I've been reading.
Best accent.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even know how long I've been reading her books, but I just did an arc for her that Unhinged, great book, killer cliffhanger. Like I was like,
so mad.
I was like, I can't believe you did this to me. And she's like, I'm sorry. And I said, no, you're not. Because they never are.
No.
And then she laughed because she knows I'm right. She was delightful. It was great talking to her. We also saw Heather Long, who
we love you, Heather.
I'm going to take this moment and I'm going to tell you, Heather, that we went back and found the video that you remembered hearing the little blip on, and you were right. I did say the wrong thing. And for everybody else, in one of our episodes last season, we were talking about 3rd act breakups or whatever that phrase is. And I mistakenly said that 82nd Street Vandals had a 3rd act breakup in it. And what really happened was it was the cliffhanger in a book. So it might have seemed like that for that short time. But then, of course, the next book comes out and that thing is resolved. So it wasn't a 3rd act breakup from a plot point perspective. It wasn't even a 3rd act breakup. So Heather was sure to point it out to me when I saw her at RTD, and I love that she did.
And if you're an author and we fucked something up, feel free to reach out. We'd love to correct that we did that.
And we'll do it with a smile because we know we're,
and like, I think I read 186 books last year.
Yeah.
Right. And so sometimes we fuck up names.
Yeah, always.
Michelle's about fuck. Okay, hang on. Let me start again. Sometimes we fuck up names. Miss MyDys is about to fuck up a name when she tells you what book she's reading right now.
That's hilarious. Okay,
moving on. And sometimes we fuck up plot points. We fuck up
mix up intentions. Like
but I thought when we were trying, I was flop sweating. All the way home.
We were talking to Heather Long.
Yeah, which is because she was like, yeah. I was like, it's probably me because I fucked shit up. She's like, no, it was you. And then I was like, kid. I was just like,
wait, let me backtrack. So when we walked out to Heather Long's table, she doesn't recognize us as Snackable Smut, which is fine. When I am communicating on Facebook, we're just under our regular names normally. So as soon as she looked down and saw my name placard, she was like, you.
She's like, I have a book. I watched all the episodes, which thank you. Thank you, truly. But it's like, no. And I was like, oh, I probably fucked it up. And she's like, no, it was you.
She said that I said that there was a third act breakup in 82nd Street Vandals, and there isn't. And so then Carrie tried to say, well, maybe I said it because I couldn't remember when we said it, honestly.
Yeah.
And Heather was like, no, it was you. And she pointed to me, and I was laughing because I knew it probably was.
So we went back and watched, and you were correct.
You were. And we love you still.
But I thought what was really interesting is in discussing it, because it came from the makeup breakup episode.
Yeah.
And I was discussing how like my experience of reading the book was that it felt very much like a breakup, and if I didn't have the next book to go to, I would have assumed it was a breakup
for sure.
If I had to wait like 6 months, right? Obviously,
which you never do with Heather. Yeah,
we don't have to do that because Heather's delightful. But it's really funny how we all experience books differently. Like just like we were talking about earlier when we were reading Sadie Kincaid's newest one, I had all of these Easter eggs missing because I hadn't read the series from start to finish. So sometimes it's really great to go back and reread a series because you understand what the author's trying to plop in and beat over your head that you've completely missed. And maybe it's an 11th hour breakup. Maybe it's somebody leaving to protect people. Yeah. Which is what that was. Yeah. So thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
And please next time, just message us and tell us and we'll fix it.
Although it was a great conversation at her table. I loved every second of it. It was so much fun. It's just so much fun. Even when your friends are calling you out on whatever bullshit you have going on, it's done with love. And it was fun. And she was laughing too. So it was hilarious. It was great.
And then right next to her, we met a new author who
new to us. We recognize her name.
We recognized her name.
But we have not read her yet.
Us.
Samantha Bee.
She was gorgeous.
Yeah, she's amazing.
So gorgeous. Miss Samantha Bee.
Yeah.
So Miss Samantha Bee, shout out to you for being delightful and having cat stickers.
Well, she also is a Swiftie. So when I was at her table, I was like, everything is rep coded. My daughter would look at it and be like, oh, that's rep coded. That's rep coded. That's rep coded. So she just laughed because she knew exactly what I was talking about.
We also met up with Luna Pierce's PA.
Yes. So Luna Pierce, we were supposed to come back and see you the next day, but that did not happen for RTD reasons.
Actually, I tried to sneak back in.
Yeah, they said no.
And they were like, absolutely not. Yeah. And I was like, but remember me, I told you the funny jokes about your broken foot and how you needed a chair. And then I found you a chair, so you should let me back in the door. And he was like, no, I'm going to do my job. And I'm like, respect. It was a whole conversation. Like, no, I respect that.
It was very fast.
I'm not trying to get you fired from volunteering. She's sweet. I kind of felt bad trying to sneak in, but not really, because I was thinking about sitting in a bathroom waiting for people to come out. Oh, wait, that sounds terrible. I can't do it in a stabby way. You know, like,
I don't know what's happening right now.
Does yours still have toilet paper way?
I know nothing.
So anyway, Miss Luna Pierce, we tried.
You're gonna be so thrilled, Luna Pierce, that somehow that segues back to you.
So we attempted
to.
We spoke with your PA because you had a delightful line of long people.
Yeah, for sure.
We were not about to think that we were important enough to jump your line. But we did catch the eye of your.
I don't know.
You were there. I was peeing. You were there. I was peeing. She was cute though. She had this beautiful tats. I was like watching you. I was like, what are you doing? What is that? Who are you talking to? Is that a new author?
So I don't know if she was. I don't know if she was
PA.
I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know if she was the PA or if she was just an assistant for the day.
Whatever. She was lovely.
She was gorgeous for one thing, and she was delightful. And so we gave her our little baggie, and we say, I told her we review Luna Pierce all the time, and we're excited for her next book and all that stuff. And she's like, "Oh, you should say hi." And I was like, "Cool,
no,
but I don't want to cut these people.
I'm not trying to get a paper cut."
And so then someone said something about they had a sticker that said there was 3 hot dogs and 1 bun, and if you know Luna Pierce, if you know Luna Pierce and you've seen her TikTok videos, then you know exactly what it's like. But it brought up a conversation, and I started laughing because I remember watching a TikTok of hers, I don't know, last year maybe, I don't know, because I watch it sometimes. It's funny. And she's sketching out or trying to talk through positioning for one of her more energetic white shoe scenes. And I remember her going viral because, you know, of where everybody was. Segue to now, when I read Homewrecker by Sarah Kate, there was a scene that I was trying to figure out. And so I took my phone and I sketched out the scene because that was hilarious to me. And then I shared it with her because that was even more hilarious to me. But I showed that to Luna Pierce's assistant because of the conversation, and she started dying laughing. I thought something was wrong for a moment. She was like, she looked at Luna and she said, "You have to talk to them. This is fucking hilarious." And Luna Pierce was like, "I love fucking hilarious." And I told them that we would just come back by because they still had a line. She was still working through signing stuff, and I was not about to interrupt anyone else's experience like that. But because of the way things happened and the fact that it was challenging at times to get to the reader tables, and I don't mean because of crowds or anything, I do just mean because of the kind of the chaoticness that was parts of RTD. So we did not get back to her. So
we'll just email you that.
We will email you. And now this whole segue is for you. So we will be tagging you.
Let's see. One of my other favorite experiences was how Miss MyDys would be like eagle eye recognized, and in particular by Tina DeSalvo.
Yeah. So I know Tina DeSalvo.
Salvo, apologies.
You're good. She would just laugh, honestly. I met her. My son just turned 18. So
she said 9+1.
Yeah, when Tina saw me, she said, "Michelle," and she hugged me. She's like, "It's been a year +9." And I laughed hilariously because that was funny to me. And so I've known her for a very long time. So seeing her again, like she just went from 0 to 100, and we were doing crazy action shots.
That turned out pretty good.
I'm not that person. She's like, "Pretend you're jumping." I'm like, "What?
No.
Fly." That's all I got for you. But it was so delightful seeing her. It's been so long. And so we saw her. We saw Afia roaming. Could be roaming, ROMING. I see it, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Sweet.
And she was another person who I met a very long time ago.
What did she tell us about the newest book that she had coming out?
Okay, so she's starting a new series that had a lot of the tropes that are our favorite thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they were. All I know is that she said it's coming out soon.
She's
and
very excited. She had a copy, but she ran out. So I was she took down our email. So feel free to.
We offered ARCs.
We will love to ARC whatever that beauty is that you are writing.
Yeah, for sure. So she was another one who recognized my name.
That was fun.
It's very interesting that they don't know me, but they know my name because they see me post so much. That just will never not be funny to me.
But I love that I think all in all, every single author was the sweetest, even if we were like screaming at them from behind a black table.
That might have happened a time or two.
And we met a new to us author, and we're going to apologize if we fuck this up. But Gina Azzi.
It's AZZI. So yeah.
She hollered at us from behind her table.
Wait, let's talk about that. When you're in such a huge thing and you have all these people, like a lot of people will just go, some people go to every single table. Some people just go to the tables of the people they know. We were just walking through and we were underproduced. And so sometimes your eye will connect with someone and you stop. It doesn't mean you know of them or anything like that. She connected with Carrie, like they saw each other.
So sweet.
And it just struck up this incredible conversation about the type of books she writes. She asked a lot of questions about us and our dynamic, and she loved for us that we're besties and that we do this together and all of that stuff. So we were going to try and go back the next day for a cake thing that she was sponsoring.
And her
PA
she also writes too, paranormal, right? She said paranormal.
Yeah, I think so.
Paranormal. So we'd love to connect with your PA too. Because we actually, and we were really genuine about this. We do get a lot of asks and we love to build lists. And we thought both of them were so sweet and so excited.
So, and it's another case where we may not have ever seen her books just because of the circles we normally roll in.
Yeah.
Dark, that whole thing. But she was truly delightful. And so now we know where to start with her series. And it's a great way to connect with people. And sometimes the connection just makes the way for you, because she and Carrie locked eyes and it was like, oh, I've known you forever.
I was like, I'm sweaty and I had to pee. I gotta go. And she's like, I was like, yes, you can ask me all sorts of questions. You have beautiful hair.
Oh yeah, she was just beautiful. Gorgeous. Yeah, for sure. Let's see, who else?
Oh, you saw from a distance an influencer that you liked, but we didn't get to connect with. Sure. Start SH. Shania, Schwarmy,
Nope.
Shanice.
No.
Shazzy.
No.
Yes.
I don't remember. This is my thing.
She was a Latina.
Oh, I didn't actually see her. I knew she was there.
Oh.
Mexican Belle. So Isabella. She was at RTD. I didn't actually see her. We did not make it to a lot of the stuff that was there just because there was only
it the vendor?
I don't know if they had influencers in the vendor area or if influencers were just supposed to walk around. I don't know that part. But I saw that she was there and that was very interesting.
I think I want to wrap RTD experience up by saying we made a lot of really fun connections.
Yeah. And we had fun together.
We had fun together.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that we spoke to that we didn't get their like handles, and we tried to give them bags. I know we connected with one this morning, the caffeinated.
Yeah, I don't remember her handle.
But they were so funny. They had they were coming for the party, and they had one of them had volunteered for RTD last year, so they were giving us all the scoop.
Yeah.
And they were delightful. So if we didn't mention you or didn't find you, please find us.
And message us.
Message us. We'd love to reconnect and get to know each other better. Or if you're an author that stumbled across one of our bags, or you know, wants to know more about us, we'd love just your PAs, the PAs. We learned a lot about PAs. We love PAs. Give us more PAs. We'd love to meet more PAs. I think my only regret is that we didn't connect with Sadie Kincaid because we had promised
and
to
Tilly.
And SJ Tilly because we had spoken to them about it. But you know,
things happen.
Life.
Yeah.
We'll get you at the next one.
Yeah.
And if you know where the next one is, please let us know. I don't think it's gonna be here.
That's probably
something else that we did during the break, actually on Sunday, is we partnered with a local permanent jewelry company here called Alpine Collective, who is a friend of mine. Both of them are friend of mine. They're delightful, joyful, pure light human beings.
Yeah,
and we had Snackable Smut permanent bracelets made. I don't know if it'll get it, but we had them, we partnered with them to get some permanent, and then they're working on their laser engraving.
Okay. There it is.
There we go. Yep.
There we
go. And then, the QR code, which was so clever. I was so glad she did that. Yeah. So thank you to Carissa for giving us our special Snackable Smut merch.
Yeah, she was delightful. I told Carrie when we were leaving that she was just like a ray of sunshine, like a ray of light, because it was my first time meeting her. And you know, sometimes you meet those humans that are just so bright on the inside that it just flows out. She was that person.
She is.
She's amazing.
She is, and she smells good.
Yeah, there's that too.
But they are local to the Denver area, and we will link them and tag them so that if you need a permanent jewelry experience, or they're branching off into new products like personalized wood engravings, personalized bracelet charms, things like that. And also their new trailer, Rusty Ruby, that they're working on. Their page is so fun. They do the best reels and TikToks and things like that. So please give them a follow, give them some love, because they love us and we love them. So that was our Alpine Collective experience.
Yep.
So I think we should wrap by letting you know what's coming for season 2.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So season 2, we have a lot of great topics. We are trying to line up. Maybe Heather Long will come on and yell at us on YouTube.
That would be amazing.
Heather, if you're out there, we'd love it. But we're trying to line up. We'd love to speak to Zoe Blake, as we said last season. We're getting brave enough to reach out to her.
And we have, she knows we have. When she sees this, she's gonna be like, whoa.
And if we could ever get on the right time zone with Miss Candace, right, we'd love to make that happen as well, because I think one thing I learned that I loved about RTD was like the authors were so passionate about talking about, they were like, when you get somebody in the space where, even though they're uncomfortable, because I know that a lot of the authors are introverts, they write at home alone for a reason. But you get them in a space with people who want to talk about their books and who love their characters and who love the stories.
They just connect for whatever reason.
I loved even just overhearing those conversations.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Because it was like them talking about their kids. And so if you want to come on this space, we will make room and provide safe space for you to speak. Let's see what else. We have Unwrapping Book Boyfriends and Girlfriends. It's an episode we're excited about. If you have a favorite book boyfriend or girlfriend we need to check out or highlight, let us know.
Yes, because everyone has a different perspective.
Yes.
And we love that. And it's even fun when it's differing perspectives. Because you always want to try and convince people to love what you love. It's just what we do.
Let's see. We have dark romance novels that leave a mark.
Yep.
Candace.
Soul Survivor. But also Vices and Vows.
Laughter Amongst the Darkness. Dark romance that makes you laugh out loud. Rosa.
Yeah, it's so funny when you get dark and light in the same book and it ticks all your boxes. That's when you know it's an experience and not just a book. Yeah. And that's what we live for.
Yes. What else you got there? Do these ones.
Okay, so
those are all good ones that you can
when you fall out of love with books, how do you find your way back? So I think we've all heard about people who stopped reading for a period of time for whatever reason. So we want to dive into what it means to come back from that and how you navigate sometimes just not being able to continue with something you love. How do books sustain you through trauma? I think we hit on this a little bit in season 1 on one of the episodes. Books are cathartic, and reading someone else's story sometimes helps us handle our own, process our own, and be able to move on. So a whole episode talking about that kind of dynamic, and probably sharing some experience that we've had in this, doing the same thing.
Well, I think also for me, for that one, is like when I read that title too, I thought about the books that I read when I was experiencing trauma.
Exactly.
So
because they can give you hope too, right?
Yeah, they give you hope, or they give you an escape. And then even going back and reading them when you're in a place where you might feel those,
it's totally different experience.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be a great one. And then expanding some sub genres in dark romance, because we're seeing new things all the time. And I think that's a great thing for us to talk about.
This one's going to be great. Family Matters, the role of family in dark romance, found family. We've touched on found family and secondary characters.
Yep.
So I think especially, with Curie's releasing.
Yeah, that's a great example.
That's a great example of found family. Let's see, quirky character traits that steal our heart.
It's a great example of family, not found family, because they're biological family. And now you just said it backwards.
Yeah.
Heather, you're in me.
Symbolism in dark romance. I know we talked a little bit. The one that kind of sparked wanting a deeper dive into that is Santana Knox. Knox's book, Kinks and Fetishes and Romance. I think a lot of these topics we talked about, and then we realized when we went back to season 1 that we hadn't talked about them enough.
Yeah, that we need to expand.
And we needed to expand. So a lot of our season 2 episodes kind of lean into things that we've already discussed, but might need to talk a little bit more about.
And this is one of my favorites.
I love this one.
Connection over or versus perfection. Talking about book ratings specifically and how that dynamic rolls.
This one will be my least favorite. This next one, The Art of Building Sexual Tension in Dark Romance. And I currently don't appreciate it, but maybe after the end of that episode, I will appreciate it.
It's just not much. So neither of us are actually big fans of slow burns, which is ironic, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
But there's
they work. They work
because I'm reading the Luna Pierce
Yes.
series.
Yes.
Right now.
Which
Is
one
it
are you
Luna
on?
Pierce or Luna Mason?
No. Oh wait.
The
You're
Masks.
Mason.
Luna Mason. I'm
Yeah.
reading the Luna Mason Beyond the Mask.
Yeah.
Series. I'm on book 2.
Mm.
And I will say, while it technically is a slow burn, I'm not frustrated with it. Like, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
It's more of a slow build because they do stuff. They just don't do all the stuff.
And I think that's one of the things that we talked about when we talked about this particular episode is that it can totally be a smutty, sexy book. And, maybe the act itself is not even there until the end of the book, because I just read one like that recently too. Although that's a whole nother story. Never mind. That's not a great example. And so we don't typically like slow burns, but I don't necessarily count it a slow burn just because they don't actually complete the act until the end of the book.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can happen until that point. And so our perspective might be a little bit more broad than some people's. But if those connection things are not happening that are building into it as a slow burn, then that's when we're like,
all of this.
Yeah. I'm not throwing anything because I gotta replace it if I throw it. But so that'll be fun.
This is fun.
Yeah.
What are you reading right now?
So there's a story. I read last year a book called Control by Lasarenia. Oh, I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly. I did Google it to find out how to say it. I know she also goes by Lass. So Lasarina.
We tried. Come on the show. We'll
Lewis. She's McMaster for her hockey contemporary romances, but Lewis for her BDSM club series. Last year's book was called Control, and it has Victor Rawl on the cover, and he's doing this. And I'm not a cover girly. I was a cover girly for that one. I actually reached out to Lass and said, I don't know what kind of crack you have on the cover. I'm not even a cover girly, but that picture just gets me. So I read the book, and I don't remember if you remember me talking about it, but it is a BDSM club. It was the first book in the series, and the kid, there's an 11-year-old in the story, and he is on the spectrum. And so
I remember this one. Yeah.
And so there's also a non-binary person that works in the club. And so the representation and the call out to all these different things in the book impacted me so much that I talk about this book all the time for that reason. And on top of that, it was sexy as fuck. And on top of that, it was just a really good book. So I always pointed out as one of my favorites last year because it just got me. So fast forward to now, she dropped book 2, Obey. The arc for it, I want to say right as I was getting ready to come to Colorado.
I remember you saying that.
So I have not read, I'm like right at the very end now, but it's been slower because we've been busy and whatever. So fast forward to yesterday, we went to Alpine Collective and we were doing our permanent jewelry experience. And first of all, she made us a lovely charm, and I'll let you show yours if you can. I don't know if, or we'll just put a picture on the post. Okay. It's fine. And so when I was looking at the type of chains, they each have a name. And the first one I pulled, which is a silver chain, it was called Talia, which is the name of the female character in Laz's book that I'm reading right now. Now, I'm a symbol person and a science person, so I was like, I think I'm supposed to have that kind of thing. And so I got that kind of chain, and now in my head, it will always be linked. So Laz, here, immortalized my bracelets. There's that. Yeah.
I am finishing up the Luna Mason book 2 because Blake Hensley, aka Atla Hensley, and Alta. Sorry, I always fuck that up.
It's okay.
Alta Hensley and Zoe Blake dropped book 3 of the Gilded Decadent series.
Yes.
And it's coming out on Friday.
So we gotta hurry. Yeah.
I gotta cancel some things and get book sorry kids, feeding.
That's okay. Everybody, except you're doing homemade pasta. So there's that. Yeah, we'll turn those around pretty quick because we're good with them. And the books they're fast reads, but they're amazing reads. So I'm excited to dive in after I'm done with Obey. Yeah.
So that's what we're reading. Well, thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, it was
together.
It was.
Thank you for joining us for the first episode of season 2 of Snackable Smut Thoroughly Fed. You can find us on all of the channels. Please connect with us. We are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, BookBub, Amazon, Goodreads, Storygraph.
It's a work in progress.
I
don't understand.
And here on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you met us this weekend and you remember us, reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. You good?
Good.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.